everyone. With us today, we have Judy Vee. Welcome, Judy.
Hello, good to be here. Thank you, Carla.
You're welcome. Thank you for being with us. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, well, my three things in life is love, prosperity, and adventure. And there are three seeds that I planted during a supernatural experience I had when I was about 15 years old, and that sums up my life. And everything I do is around that. If it doesn't meet one of those three, then I don't do it. It's as simple as that. Everything I do, that's how I live, and that's how I work. That's how I create my life. That's why I'm living in Mexico, and yeah, so that's what I help people to get to that point as well. What are the three things that is what they would absolutely love their whole life to be around and to get to that point? And we all can do it, and it's easier than you think, without complicated strategies, without complicated mindset work. It's really quite easy.
Oh, wow. And you talk about creating an iconic life. What does that mean? And what's the key to creating an iconic life?
Iconic life is a life, as I understand it, from my point of view. An iconic life is living life as the authentic projection of your soul. So 100% the authentic projection of your soul in all ways, in all forms, so that when you, whatever happens in life, whatever happens in your environment, whatever happens outside of you, it doesn't take you off course. It never stops you from being that of all of who you are. And everything you do is in 100% alignment with the projection of your soul. So what it means is it takes you out of the matrix. It takes you out of the 3D paradigm that we are conditioned to live within. That's an iconic life. And what comes with living an iconic life is prosperity and abundance of all forms.
Okay. And is there a way for somebody to really just like know what their soul is saying to create
Yeah,
their iconic life?
totally. 100%. And again, it's easier than we think. We complicate so much, right? We are just conditioned to complicate things, conditioned to make things hard, conditioned to think that anything worthwhile needs to be hard and we got to suffer for it. Whereas the biggest lie, right? It's very easy. One, we are all the seed of creation. We have within us the seed of creation. We are all, you know, we're all connected. We're all source. We're all part divine. We're all infinite beings. So with that, knowing that we are infinite being, that the divine is within, then that's the first thing. Then what comes with that, a natural progression of that, is then that we are, as divine beings, we have access to all wisdom, all knowledge, all intelligence that ever has been, ever is, and ever will be. We can tap into that. We don't need to be taught. We don't need education. Trust me, I know, because I was not educated. I was locked up until I escaped in my early 20s. And everything that I've created from accessing the wisdom of the divine within. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, whenever we experience a struggle, an obstacle, a challenge, something that feels like a block, a limitation, something that feels that we're not in flow anymore, that feels like you're in rapids, that you're swimming upstream, anything like that, that is like an awareness for us to stop and come back to ourselves, to journey back into ourselves, to connect with ourselves, the truth of who we are, to find the answer to that. Where am I off piste? Where have I taken the off ramp from the highway? What am I doing that is not my highest timeline? What am I doing that is not for my greater good, or for anyone else's greater good for that matter? So you start to explore from within. Instead, what people do, what we are conditioned to do, education conditions us to do it, modalities, self-development, mindset, all those things condition us to look outside of ourselves for the answer, which makes us work harder, faster, get more and more spun out on the hamster wheel, when creating more and more separation. The source of all suffering in humanity is the perception of separation. We are not separate from anything. We're not separate from money. We're not separate from wealth. It's just in another form. And when we connect in with ourselves to the truth of who we are, we get the wisdom, we get the downloads, we get the awareness of where we are, what our authentic next move is, what our authentic direction is, what our authentic progress is and destiny is. That's how you do it. And it's not that complicated. It is hard to get going when your life is 100% embedded in the 3D paradigm that we are conditioned to live in. I won't lie. It is hard to do that, right? But I always say to people, we know one thing: we have this life. We know that whilst we're breathing, we have this life. Now, we can either be a victim to our history or master of our destiny. We have that choice. We have the free will to make that choice. And we can say, you know what? From now on, I declare, I commit to being master of my destiny. So therefore, I will take responsibility. I know it's going to be hard, but you know what? My destiny is way more important to me than trying to struggle through all of this drama right now. When you make that commitment, you collapse the time. You collapse the time that it will feel like a struggle. And when you're in flow, you will know it, and your life will never be the same again. And that, when you're in that flow, that iconic living, is when you stop chasing, when you stop going after the things, when you stop going from one strategy to another strategy, one silver bullet to another silver bullet, to all of that stuff that just takes you off the highway. You stop doing all of that. And when that happens, things start coming to you without doing a thing. It is not uncommon for my clients to say to me, I have no idea how this happened, but I just got a phone call and I'm booked out for the next 6 months. I have no idea how this happened. I've never heard of this person before, but they've just booked me for X, Y, and Z. No idea how this happened, but I've just got a gig to go and speak in Japan. All of that is commonplace when you get to that point. It is not about what you do or how you do it. It's who you are when you do and how you do the thing.
That's amazing. When somebody's been going from, like you said, silver bullet to silver bullet, and they're just keep filling it and filling it, filling it, how would you suggest they just like go back to themselves? Where do you have when you have the clients that come in that have so much of that? Because you're right, we have been programmed to do, not to be at all, not to go within. So where do you have them start? What is something they could start with just to go within?
Yeah. So the first thing is be aware of your state of being. So often we live in survival. We live in high beta and we're living in survival. So when you're living in survival, you're reactive, you're emotional, you're responsive, you're not in command, you're not centered, you're not grounded, you're not in poise and grace, and you're not connected to infinite being, right? You're scattered. So you think about it like you're just like a leaf in the wind of life. So what's one of the things I say is don't be a leaf in the wind of life, be the hurricane in your life. So when you are aware of your state of being, you are able to use your free will to say, okay, enough. So if you're like finding yourself blacked out between the time you wake up in the morning, when you reach for your phone, which is beside your bed, and you're now bringing everybody else's agenda into your life and worrying about all of those things rather than the thing that you want to master in your life, right? You're giving away your power from the moment you wake up by doing that. And then you unconsciously go and shower, you unconsciously go and make coffee, go and consciously do all the things. And before you know it, you are unconsciously sitting at your desk. And then you're unconsciously responsive, reactive to what's ever going on in the environment. Stop that. Become conscious. Become aware. How are you feeling? You feeling angry at this moment? Okay, well, is this anger valid? Is it relevant? Is it appropriate? Is it even mine? Or am I just taking it on? And start to identify how things are in your environment controlling you rather than you being in control of your life and your environment and your destiny. We are perpetually giving our power away. And it's like living in treacle rather than living our highest timeline in flow. With flow comes prosperity. It's a universal law. There is no other way. This is what, when you are in flow, when you are living your iconic life, what happens is you collapse the time between cause and effect. Instead of what we are conditioned, we're conditioned to chase the effect, which is money. Work harder, suffer harder, like struggle harder, compete, all those things that take our eye off the ball, all those distractions that take our eye off the ball. When I got distracted into myself now. So when we do that, we're giving our power away all of the time. When we are more aware, when we are 100% aware, when we're 100% take control, take command of how we are feeling. Now, here's the thing. If you're angry at somebody, you're angry at something, or you're peeved about something or someone, or you're feeling in poverty, or you're feeling in lack, or you're feeling that this job is no good for me, or my business is going nowhere, and you are you have triggered emotions associated with that, one of the first things I would suggest to do is to start to look at the other side of that coin. Because as we know, everything is balanced. You can't have a bad thing without something good. There's two sides to every coin. So start bringing as much of your emotions into balance. So if you're feeling angry at your job, okay, so what are the benefits of the job? How is that helping you right now? Once you get out of polarity, back into balance, you have more of a calmer mind. And when you've got more of a calmer mind, you can become more aware of your state of being, and you have more control over your state of being. And when you're in that, when you're in that state of being, then you are able to be the cause to create the effect that you desire. Money is just the effect. We are the cause. Our state of being is the cause.
Wow. And what is Miracle Code?
The miracle code is one of the things that I have in my understanding and my research, stemming back from when I had a supernatural experience when I was about 15, is that we are anatomically designed to connect, communicate, and create from infinite being. And when you tap into that, when you unlock that, nothing is ever the same in your life. Nothing is ever the same in your life. You literally create miracles. When you activate the miracle code, when you master the how we are anatomically designed to communicate, connect, and create from infinite being, you create miracles. They're not miracles in the infinite, from an infinite being's perspective, but as we understand them in this human perspective, they are. And that's when you literally collapse time between cause and effect. It's almost like the cause or the thought in the experience. You think of the thing, it happens. Collapse time, cause and effect, the thought in the experience. That's the benefit of unlocking the miracle code. Understanding that we are anatomically designed. You do not need to be a guru. You do not need to be some Sufi sitting on the top of a mountain meditating for 49 years. You do not need to have a PhD. You don't need to have any of that. Every single one of us is anatomically designed to connect, communicate, and create from infinite being. When we master that, there is no suffering. There's no lack. There's no separation. There's just joy, flow, bliss, and living an iconic life.
Wow. And how have you seen the Miracle Code come to fruition in your clients' lives? And what have you seen happen in their lives as they understand it and use it?
So I it's miraculous things that occur out of nowhere, that things happen out of nowhere. Miraculous things of, they have a thought that they would love to they would love to go do a talk on something. And the moment they have the thought, they get the phone call from someone they don't know who asks them to go and speak on their stage. It's that type of thing. And even wilder, but maybe more wilder, like really stranger out there things happen, which for us in my world is not crazy wild, but to the people who are just beginning to understand the concept that miracles are possible, it might be a bit more extreme. But that is just one example. One crazy example is things like that. The thought and the experience are almost simultaneous.
Wow. Wow. And what are the 3 key truths to humanity?
I actually mentioned them earlier.
Okay.
The one is that the seed of creation resides within us. We have that. We are that. We are, with the divine is within. We are divine. We are infinite beings. And we are here to live the authentic projection of our soul for whatever purpose that soul is here for. And we know that we are guided by that. We don't necessarily have the full picture at one time because we are still human. So, but we are divine, we are infinite beings. That's the first one, is understanding and truly embodying that, not cerebrally accepting that, but truly embodying that. When you embody it, you can't just believe it sometimes and not other times, right? Because how often when people say things like that and things, all sorts of things, they say, yeah, they believe that, or they believe in spirituality, or believe in this, but only when things are going well.
Right.
Things are go well. No, it's not that. They've got to work harder. Everything's done to them. They're the victim and all this sort of stuff, right? No, when you embody it, 100%. The next thing is when you embody it, you then start to understand that we therefore have access to infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom, infinite intelligence, all that ever has been, is, and ever will be. Now, there's a trick to that. Is understanding that and I know this to be true because I personally have gone from no education, right, escaping being locked up when I was in my early 20s, for almost 20 years, and in a week getting a 6-figure job as a trading accountant on an oil and gas trading floor. Where did I get that knowledge from? And I've gone on to do all sorts of different things in all sorts of different industries and won international awards, like the International Woman Winemaker of the World. Where did I get that wisdom? Where did I get that knowledge? We can access all wisdom, all knowledge. But again, it will not come to us in a cerebral way. It's not all of a sudden you'll think, okay, I want to start a restaurant. I have no idea how to start a restaurant. I want to start a restaurant. Okay, infinite being, tell me how to start a restaurant. You're not going to get any words that come to you, right? You're not going to get sort of like the template that you can sort of like go and type out. Okay, so there it is. When it comes, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Understanding that everything is energy, you understand that the information we receive is in the form of energy. We get energetic download whenever we ask a question of our higher self. The quality of your life is determined by the quality question you ask yourself. I'm not the first person to say that. Many people have said that, but it's true. It's very true. But don't expect a cerebral answer. It will be an energetic download you get, and you will get it. Don't, like people who try and tell me, oh, but I don't get it. You do get it. There's nothing special about any one of us that doesn't get it, right? We all get that energetic download. But are we patient enough to allow it to assimilate, to allow it to, it's almost like, think about it like a zip file you're downloading. It needs to be unzipped, right? And that might take a little minute or two. And people just don't have the patience. But when you start to trust, because you embody the awareness that we are infinite beings, we are divine. When you embody that, you trust that energetic download. Next thing you say, oh, when I open a restaurant, next thing you'll be guided to where to go, what to do. And you'll be saying things and you'll be wondering, how on earth did I know that?
Right.
and this is how it happens. That's the second thing. But people are so conditioned, though, one, for immediate gratification, and two, for pacifying and distraction. When we overcome those three things, we then become so much more aware of the information that we are asking for, that we're downloading. The third thing then is, whenever we experience an obstacle, like, you think you found a venue for your restaurant, but the lease is just not working out, or you're not getting the right licenses, and all these issues are happening. And instead of working harder and faster and trying to find the right person and grease their palms, or whatever it is you do, you can tell I'm in Mexico, whatever you do, right? Whatever it is you're trying to do, instead of all of that, just come back to yourself and ask, okay, so what awareness can I get that will help me to resolve this? What am I not seeing? Where's the alternative? Where's the option? Where's the higher timeline option for me right now? Where's the option for me that is for my greater good and the greater good of all? That is what we are doing. That is why 75% of my time is spent deepening my awareness, deepening my connection, deepening my communication, and creation from infinite being. And only a very small part of my day is actually working. And I make more money doing that than ever before when I do that. The moment I spend 8 hours working, my productivity goes down, my flow goes down, my wealth goes down, my money goes down, everything depletes. I deplete, I'm tired, I lose energy when I do that. Not when I spend it with attention to who I am being, doing the things, and how I do the things.
Right. Having the being instead of the doing. And when you're right, the more energy you put into doing, the less you have in being. So you gave us a free gift, attuning to prosperity. Can you tell us about that and what everyone can expect when they get into their free gift?
Okay, so Tuning to Prosperity is my brand name, and I named it to remind us all to be aware and conscious of what we are attuning to. When we're unconscious, you'll be surprised at what you're attuning to. Most of us, when we're unconscious, we are attuning to lack, we're tuning to separation, we're tuning to suffering, to all the things that are not for our highest good. So when we attune to prosperity, it helps us in our state. So one of the things in my research, what I have learned, is that there is a direct correlation between what you are attuning to, or your levels of consciousness, your levels of awareness, and your financial wealth. Your correct correlation between your levels of awareness and how much you can earn, hold on to, and make money, or grow money, I should rather say. So what I've done is I've created a quiz that will show you where you are on the levels of conscious awareness. That will be your answer as to why you may be struggling to earn, hold on to, or grow wealth. And that's the free grid. It is very revealing. And a lot of people have said to me things like, it is more accurate than an astrology reading. So it's amazing that correlation. People think that and it's part of the conditioning. We're conditioned to compartmentalize our life, like the wheel of life. We're looking for balance. What balance? We don't need balance. We need connection to infinite being. We need that. We need to be the authentic projection of our soul. We need to be so committed, so devoted to understanding ourselves, knowing ourselves. From there, everything and anything is possible in any way, right? Without training our resources. But we tend to compartmentalize, and we tend to think, well, spirituality is one part, our work is another part, and family is another part, but it's not like that. There is a direct correlation. Everything is integrated, and who we are impacts absolutely every aspect of our life. And when we are truly aware, connected with the truth of who we are, and know who we are, that's when we have flow, and that's when we have prosperity. So this quiz is extremely revealing.
Wow, thank you so much for giving us that. And It's been such a pleasure having you. Is there anything else you would like to share today? Any other bits of wisdom? You've already shared so many amazing things, and all the being and doing is such a big deal when it comes to empowering yourself. So that's amazing.
One of the things is we can't create when we're in the beta, right? When we're in that sort of high state. And one of the issues around money is a very negatively charged word, has a lot of negative energy attached to it. And as such, a lot of people who, when we think about money or think about financial security or safety or whatever, it puts them into survival and it puts them into stress, right? So even if you have a lot of money, I've known people with a lot of money still be in survival around money. So one of the really amazing things that to do, and I have found this has worked very strongly with a lot of people I've worked with, is like take yourself out of beta a couple of times a day, right? Just sit and breathe for a moment and just slow down, slow your brainwave down, go down into alpha, because you cannot create in beta. It's not possible. That's the action. That's when we're making dinner. That's when we're driving. That's when we're doing the things. That's not the time for creating. That's the time for doing. But make time for creating. One of the most incredible things that I've found has worked when I talk to people is start with when you're going to sleep at night. Be intentional about how you go to sleep at night and be intentional about how you wake up in the morning. So as you get into bed, for the love of all things sacred, do not bring the phone to bed.
Right.
And go to bed and close your eyes. And then just imagine yourself in a field, miles from nowhere, perfectly safe, and just feel the grass under your feet. Smell the grass, smell the trees, smell the leaves, hear the leaves rustling in the trees, hear the reeds rustling, the wind through the reeds. Feel the wind on your face. Feel it go through your hair. Really break it down to the most finite detail. Feel the wind between the hair on your arms. Then feel the sun on your skin. Really feel it and tune in to that joy when you connect to the authentic planet. Part of who we are. It's us. We're one and the same. And you experience it in that moment and you drift off to sleep in that state and you do it again the next morning. Spend 5-10 minutes doing it. Feel the joy, feel the gratitude, feel your heart just burst open. That's the state to create in. And when you're creating from that space, you'll be a millionaire, a billionaire. You're unstoppable.
Right. And just the change in the feeling compared to waking up with your phone and going to bed with your phone and bringing all your senses into that. Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful. And I go a step, when you start mastering that, then we can take it a step further and a step further, because those 2 periods of our day are key for creating and manifesting anything in our life.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing all of this and just like making such a beautiful impact in our lives.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me, Carla. It's just
Oh,
such a pleasure. Thank you.
yes. Thank you.